Mansard Roof. Do you know what a Mansard Roof is? That's where the roof comes down like this, and then the sides drop almost straight down, but not quite. They're kind of nice looking. And in fact, they were born and raised in the south of France. And in the official architectural journals of the United States, they say they no longer exist in North America. They were here in the early days, and they give up on them. Unfortunately, at least in Quebec, they still make a lot of them. And I say unfortunately because they're really not good for a cold climate. They're fine for the south of France, but not for a cold climate. Let's take a look at a Mansard roof. This is one Mansard roof, fairly typical, where it's a regular roof on the top and then suddenly it drops down, and it's not quite flat enough like a roof, and it's not quite straight up and down enough to be a wall. It's kind of in between the two. And in our climate, that leads to all kinds of problems, because if you look at the edge here, how do you get ventilation into the attic? There usually is none, or we have special gadgets to do that. But what you really want to look at is the quality of those shingles. They're not bad on the roof, and look how fast they have deteriorated, blown off, been removed, corners coming up, totally falling apart. Okay? And that's exactly what Anne from Beaconsfield in Montreal wrote about it. I live in Beaconsfield, Quebec. Recently, my house went through a house inspection. As per the inspector, and I quote from the report, where the shingles have not been well sealed to the underlying shingles, the tabs may be visibly separated from the shingle below. Tabs are usually loose because the installer relied on the self-sealing strips that don't work on siding or roofs with a slope greater than 1512. 1512 means 60 degrees. A shingle tab should be cemented down with small dabs of plastic cement in high wind areas and on slopes equal to or greater than 1512, unquote. That was the inspector. He says, as per the roofer says that no roofer ever cements down the shingle tabs. And so please let me know what the norm is for the area I live in. Well, it's not even for the area you live in. First of all, your inspector's dead right, and the roofer's dead wrong. Okay? I don't usually take hard positions like that in terms of where we're going, but we need to really look at this. I want to go to my website for just a moment and take a look at some shingle stuff here. Where is it? Here we are. This just helps to see a shingle. This is like what a shingle looks like. The tabs, that's what we see all the time. There's a straight part you don't see, it's underneath. There's glue lines, what we call self-sealing adhesive, all across here. And for regular shingles, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 nails. And the rules for this are not really in the building code. The rules for this are in the warranties of the manufacturer, the instructions from the manufacturer. If their instructions are not followed, the warranty is not valid. And every manufacturer requires that there be 4 nails per shingle and that this sealing tab has a chance to stick. So even that, talking about regular roofs or anything else, has a chance to stick means that from anywhere from November or December all the way up to May, it may not stick. It has to get 60 degrees Celsius in order from the sun, in order for that tab to melt and stick to the shingle below it. Because if we look at a layer of shingles here and see if we can actually see in here, here you can see the glue lines, and that glue line is just under the end of the tab. That, see, here's the glue line there. The next tab will go just over that. So when that glue line sticks properly, the heat causes the shingle to lie down and melt into it. Then the bottom of this whole shingle is well sealed to the shingle below it. But when we're hanging at 60 degrees, there's not enough gravity to help us out. If we're working in cold weather, there's not enough heat to help us out. And the shingle manufacturers skirt around the issue a little bit, but they say if conditions are not such that permit that to adhere properly, it is not under warranty. And if they come back and can see that there's no sticking of that sealant strip, then there's no warranty. Now, on the 60-degree slope, they get worse. They come up and they say you really have to put 6 nails in every shingle. Many of the guys don't do that. It's written right on the package, 6 nails for a mansard roof, and you have to tab the ends. Now, the best shot I have of tabbing the ends is here on the entry that shows repairing a shingle. Now, these tabs are too big. Should be about the size of an American quarter, okay? So not much bigger than a nickel. So because if they're too big, this is going to ooze out, and that's going to make a mess. But you've got to put tabs under every shingle down there, at least under the 2 corners, on every single piece of shingle on a mansard roof. Yes, nobody does it. You'll find out when you go to court that no manufacturer will respect their warranty because the installer violated the terms of the warranty. And so I recommend that you look at the links in the bottom, and it'll go to a really good research document that does a run through of all the different manufacturers and what is required, why, and exactly what is wrong with that whole thing. Now let's just take a quick look at slopes on all of this. If we come here, here's the slopes of the roof. This is a level, and this is like 1 foot out. How far down do you go? So a 212 pitch is 2 inches down for every foot over, okay? That's a very low sloped roof, and you'll see here it says do not install shingles. Let me make this bigger so you can see the details there. It just literally says do not install shingles on a roof that low. Then we get a low sloped roof that actually goes down to 4 inches, 4 inches and a foot. Well, in Canada, they no longer sell low slope shingles because they get into too much trouble with ice dams. So we don't even have them in Canada. So if anybody tries to install something on a 412 pitch, it just should not have shingles. It should have a membrane. Standard slope roof goes down to 8 inches. Steep slope roof, let's open that back up. A steep slope roof goes all the way to 15 inches. And that works, but you just have to work harder and harder at making it work. And then when we get to the mansard slope roof, that's where we have to have 6 nails and glue under every tab. That makes the roof a lot more expensive. It makes it difficult to shingle it and reshingle it. And we get other problems with mansard roofs. If I could encourage everybody to simply walk away from a house that has a mansard roof, don't buy it, don't build it, stay away from it in Canada, we would have far fewer problems. On the radio, I usually, when somebody calls in with a mansard roof, I give them my condolences and say, well, now what else can we do for you? Do you get the impression I don't like mansard roofs? I love the look. They don't work in our climate.